Welcome, everybody, to the Stiff Shot Podcast. This is the hardest hitting pro wrestling podcast on the internet today, where Scott and I never pull any punches. So welcome back, guys. We're here at episode number 2.
That's right. They thought we were going to be one and done, but we're back for one more, at least.
That's right. At least. We're in our infancy. We're only on episode 2, guys, but we are going to have 222, 1,022. We're in this for the long haul, man. I am your host, Timbo Slice. Along with my man over there on the other side of your screen is Scott Gada. Scott the Bump Gada. I don't think there was enough characters there to fit.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I have multiple nicknames. There. I see you've already changed your name since last week, though. So is this going to be a recurring thing where you just have a different moniker every week?
And you know what, Scott? What's funny about this is for those of you who watched episode number 1, I was trying to think of a word in the beginning, and we ended up going with nickname. But the true word I was looking for was, in fact, moniker. So this week it is my moniker. I'm kind of feeling it. Had an old buddy that would call me this. Kind of stuck. So I may stick with it or I may change it up again. Depends on how I feel that day. But anywho, I'm Timbo Slice. This is Scott the Bump Gada, Mr. Trivia, Mr. USA.
I will maybe since we're on monikers, maybe instead of the Scott the Bump Gada, if we can go by my nickname when I was doing that show, it's Big Poppa Bump Scott Gada.
Smack. You got the glasses nearby, bro?
They are. I thought they were right there.
We should have planned this out.
Where did they go?
Man, I don't know if you guys saw his promo videos and. Last week we were talking about it.
I'll be back.
Scott,
you keep talking.
Participated in the Fanatics Fest. If you don't know what it is, Google it. But in his promo video for the Fanatics Fest, he had his Stump the Bump glasses on. Big Poppa Bump, brother.
What was that?
It really is. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Ready? I feel like they're coming, guys. I feel like it's coming. Oh, he's working us real good right now. I feel like there's going to be a slow turnaround. No, it was there.
Big Poppa Bump, yes. Baby. There it is.
There they are. Ow.
Maybe next episode I'll wear my Big Poppa Bump
Randy
t-shirt.
Savage.
But there you go.
Wow, if we're so lucky, Scott, yes, you will wear that. Guys, I'm sure he will wear that. Those glasses are pretty sick, though, bro, I have to say. I wish I had a pair for myself.
And maybe one day you can have one that says Stiff Shot Podcast or Timbo Slice. Or you can have one for every week of your moniker.
Merch, bro.
Or maybe I'll get you a pair of glasses. It'll say this week's moniker.
Wow. And then we can intro that with that. That'd be a beautiful thing. I like where you're thinking, Scott. See, we got all these ideas, guys. We got all these new things, all these ideas planned for you, segments, little gimmicks like that, right? Keep it fun, keep it entertaining.
But now, let's get into the wrestling. First question I got for you, Tim, though. An inverted atomic drop, shouldn't it require a disqualification? Yes or no?
That's a good question, Scott. I wonder what our viewers think. I'm going to go with yes, because that's right in the bean sack, brother. I'm surprised that, over the ages, there's never been, it's been an accepted thing in professional wrestling, right? You can't go and, give a low blow, right? You can't kick a guy straight in the nuts, but no problem picking him up as high as he can, 350-pounder, and dropping his balls down right on your knee. How is that okay?
I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe it should require disqualification. Or is it specifically targeted at the groin and not necessarily...
That's a good question, Scott. Thank God I have never been the victim of an a reverse atomic drop in my entire life. So that's probably a good thing. I'm hoping that never happens to me ever. But I'm sure we've got some guys out there who have worked matches who can say yay or nay on whether it ends up affecting the beanbags directly or if it's more of a boonder thing, a rear end thing,
so,
if you will.
2 questions for you. One, you said you've never fell victim to an inverted atomic drop. But are you saying you've been on the recipients end of an atomic drop?
No, not that either. Thank God I haven't experienced that either.
That's good because it's that lower tailbone butt crack area. Would probably be equal as devastating. Then my other question is going to be:
how are any of these moves legal?
If you were ever at a match and the match did end in disqualification due to an inverted atomic drop, would you feel that you'd had not gotten your money's worth? Would you be upset that maybe the match would have ended too early?
Scott got it coming with the preparation for this episode number 2 here, guys.
I've been thinking about this for weeks,
I'd
months
have to
even,
say I was
honestly.
disappointed. I'm sure you've been thinking about it for half your life, Scott. But I'm glad we're addressing it here on the podcast. You know what? I would walk away disappointed because if you think about it, similar things have happened in the UFC. I mean, not so much in terms of an atomic drop or a reverse atomic drop, but, you know, a nut shot, bro, not good. In the main event, really not good. Really, really not good. I can't think of a fan that would walk away from a UFC event after you know, they don't call it a DQ, right? But, you know, and maybe they do call it a DQ. I don't know for sure. But anyway, the match gets stopped if it's too bad, right? The doctor has to come in and, you know, do his thing. I don't know what he does there, you know, but it determines whether or not this guy, it's kosher for this guy to continue in the match. And I've seen fights end in that kind of manner. It's not fun for him, certainly, but it's not fun for us fans either, where we have to go home and say, damn, a good thing I didn't pay 12 grand for a front row seat in the UFC, you know, in the event in Las Vegas or whatever it is. Wow, you really got me fired up with that question. You know that?
Well, where to next then? Where do we want to get into next then?
I think, you know, let me just hit the pause button here real quick. I think there's one thing that we do need to address because there is an elephant in the room. So those of you who tuned in last week to episode 1, and if you haven't, go back, definitely watch. It was a fun one. There was a certain part of that, and we did throw that up on YouTube and TikTok as a short. If you want to check out exactly what we're talking about, definitely do that. But I'm trying to figure out what to name this segment. I think I've come up with the Colossal Confusion, perhaps Can-Am Gate.
Oh no,
Scott, I think you know what I'm talking about here, right?
Yeah.
We got into a situation, there was a tag match at WrestleMania 6 that involved this team, and turns out their name was the Colossal Connection. Now, you know, when you get to be my age, you tend to get brain farts sometimes, and actually more often than not now, unfortunately, very sad. But thankfully, I have an understanding family around me when this happens. However, not so understanding are wrestling fans, man. So I couldn't think of the name. Bottom line, right? I'll admit it. I couldn't think of the Colossal Connection, Andre the Giant and Haku, because we were talking about Haku last week on the episode and all our escapades with him, or Ming, you know, whatever you want to call him. But either way, point is, it was a colossal botch is what it was. And I thought that it was just me that committed a botch. But then
I tried to correct
back the footage and I went, oh my God. Yes, go ahead, Sky. Explain yourself here.
So Tim was confused. He couldn't come up with the name Colossal Connection, and instead he used the name Can-Am Connection. And that's when I stepped in and I said, oh, really? And I said, Haku, was he the Canadian or the American? And then I mistakenly said that, well, the answer was Colossal Collection was the team that Tim was referring to, Andre the Giant Haku. But when I mentioned Can-Am Connection, I mentioned the team of Rick Martel and Tito Santana. One of which, though, is Canadian. Tito Santana, though, is, however, not American. Maybe he is now. I don't know. But at least not at that time. And so I was only about half correct. Yes, Rick Martel was part of the Can-Am Connection. However, I was confusing him with his Strike Force.
Yes. So I discovered that botch in watching back the footage. So for most of the week, I felt guilty. Okay. I felt guilty because I thought I was the one that ended up botching. Turns out Scott committed a botch also. So we're both at fault here. And so you know what? We have to equally take the blame with each other. Okay. We're both at fault here. We totally screwed it up. All right, but now we're on the same page. We realize the error of our ways. You can check out this clip, like I mentioned, on YouTube, on TikTok. It's been getting some traction, which kind of upsets me. There's other good stuff out there, guys. But anywho, we want to clear it up. The Strike Force was Tito Santana and Rick Martel. The tag that Scott was trying to think of, the Can-Am Connection, was actually Rick Martel and Tom Zank, the Z-Man. So Scott plugged in Tito Santana there. But either way, I'm glad we've cleared this up. There's a lot of backlash here for this. So sorry, guys. I do apologize for that. We're going to be better, I promise. But that was a funny one. That was that was entertaining. And, you know, it gets you back in the 19. Wait a second here. Hey.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Is
Sorry
that
about
him?
those technical difficulties.
Okay. We may have to cut that part out and string it back together. Don't know how it's going to work when the browser closes tonight, Scott. No clue if we're going to come in and you're going to have multiple pieces to you.
Let's see.
Man, it gits back to our discussion last week. Scott is currently on a 50K dial-up connection. May even be, was it 30, 36, 3, 38, 8, 38, 8?
Yeah, I don't know what these numbers
There's got to be some nerd out there that's going to correct me on that. But I know that 56K modems were a thing. Scott, obviously, you can see, is on a 56K right now. So we're trying to get him a little bit more bandwidth, if you will.
I apologize, everybody. It seems that we have had a colossal disconnection.
Wow, Scott, that was so good, man. That was really, really good. That was really fucking good, dude. Anyway. I like that. I don't like the fact that you're experiencing difficulties, but I do like that.
I know.
Punishment.
You know what? I think maybe that's what'll happen is every time there is a bandwidth issue or something, or like I can't connect, I think we have to throw up Andre the Giant and Haku and then like a line in the middle and just say we're having a colossal disconnection right now. I don't know.
Wow. Very original,
or
Scott.
Instead of
this is the kind of original stuff we're working on, guys.
Maybe instead of a Can-Am connection, maybe a Can't-Am connection. I don't know.
Scott,
when my wrestling right stand-up career starts, I'll make sure to write all these down.
Please do, Scott. I'm sure that'll put butts in seats.
Let's
Anywho, I was getting back to what I was saying.
Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, we digress here. Getting back to what I was talking about while Scott was dialing back in, literally. I was talking about how the fact that, like, I thought about the Colossal Connection, I thought about the Can-Am Connection. I'm going, I don't know how the hell these teams came together. So, me personally, back in the day, there's something called V. Don't ask me what it stands for. I just know that the first letter is for video. Anywho, they were these cassette tape things. Now I'm going to have to explain what a cassette tape is.
For the youngins.
Anywho, I would go and rent these things. If you're an old school wrestling fan, you know what the hell I'm talking about right now. Coliseum Video, man. Loved me some Coliseum Video. And so I'd rent these VHSs, right? But it was always the big pay-per-views, but they had some cool stuff too. If anybody remembers, like the best of the WWF Volume 1 and the best of the WWF Volume 2.
Personally, I actually own a DVD VCR combo. Even though DVDs are becoming extinct now. Now,
pretty soon
sometimes when
like
I put in the video tapes, maybe or maybe not, the VCR will start eating the tape. There's like a 50-50 chance. And I try not to, I don't want to ruin it. It's an artifact at this point, and it's like the only one left.
It is. It's probably worth money now, man. You know?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. When's the last time you used it, Scott?
I want to say within the last like 3 years. I feel like during COVID times, for sure. I think COVID times, I like dusted it off, brought it back out, and popped in a couple old tapes.
Sick. That would have been the time to do it, you know? What the hell else were you doing? Just trying to avoid a virus, you know? You might as well watch some VHSs.
Actually, well, since we're talking on that subject, and we always do a show and tell, I'll let you keep talking, because I know in a drawer right over here, 2 steps away, I have a bunch of VHSs. And I'm going to see what I got because I haven't looked in there in a while.
Beautiful. Go get at it, Scott. Let's put some stuff on the screen here so people can look at some artifacts here. We're actually, you know, this is a historians wrestling podcast as well here, because we're going to show you some stuff, you know, for the younger listeners out there. This is going to really blow your mind. This is how we consumed our wrestling back in the day. Just wanted to real quick get back to my point about all this, is that I'd watch these videos, but I would never know how some of these teams came about, or how did these storylines start? You know, like where's the buildup? Because I never would watch, you know, I was too young to watch Wrestling Challenge or, you know, whatever the weekly programs were where they built these storylines and built up to these matches. So now I'm like, it's get my wheels going. I'm real curious, you know, how did these come about? I can Google it, but that's no freaking fun. You know, I want to watch and see, hey, how did these tags form? How did these feuds start between people? that ultimately, culminated in a match of some kind, whether it was the Rumble or, WrestleMania, whatever, 4 or 5, things like that. I'd love to see some of that build up. I don't know, Scott, do you know if the network's all screwed up, right? Like we talked about that, unless you're European, of course. The network and everything is all screwed up at this point. Do you know how we can possibly, or how I can possibly find old Wrestling Challenge episodes from like the late 80s? Is there a way maybe somebody can comment or shoot us a message and let me know where I can get that stuff? But I'd love to see those weekly television programs.
I do believe a lot of them are on the network, though, or I mean, whatever. It's not the network anymore. It's all on Netflix. So it's whether it's gone over. But I know like all the old Superstars episodes, those were on the last version of the network on Peacock. I know that. So, but YouTube can always be your friend,
and I never got into it.
as long as there's not like no copyright issues. WWE Vault now, I think they have they post a lot. I don't know if they have full shows a challenge. They likely do. And then even if you're familiar with those old torrent sites, you do if you remember XWT Classics, that might be a good source, but I don't want to put them over too much because then somebody will go find them. Anyway, so I dug up a couple tapes and
yeah. We'll keep that on the DL.
So I would have to pop this in, but the tape says 90210 on the top. This was probably like a tape that belonged to my sister. And then I probably taped over it because on the side, 90210 is crossed out and it says, I believe, WrestleFest. And WrestleFest was a 90s classic, only came out on Coliseum Video. It was like a pay-per-view, but it was like a pay-per-view nobody knew about it. You can only get it on VHS. And if I had to
man.
guess,
I would
those
say
this
in my
is probably
video store,
WrestleFest 94, which I want to say featured like Razor Ramon versus Owen Hart, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to pop it in. Somebody definitely played a prank on me. This was WCW Spring
I'm looking forward to this
Stampede.
one.
Well, somebody wrote Scott's Backdoor Adventure on it, I think, to prank me, but that's definitely on top of WCW Spring Stampede.
You will not gotta pop for that one, man. Who the hell did that? That's great.
Mine on here, just FYI. That was.
You know what? I'm probably not going to throw that one in my VHS player, Scott, just in case.
This one, I have no idea. It's completely blank. But I'll tell you what. I was kind. You see that? You see why I was kind?
Yeah. Wow.
I was kind because I rewind.
Blue tape.
Be kind, rewind. That was a thing you had to do, kids, when you rented a movie. It was common courtesy. You give your waiter a tip at the restaurant. Common courtesy. You rewind the videotape before you hand them back.
Yeah.
Another blank one.
Yeah, before you bring it back to Blockbuster.
This might have been the last VHS I purchased. Look at that. Can I show the scratch logo? Do I have to block that? Anyway, WWF Most Memorable Matches in 1999.
Let them come at me.
This is right around the years and DVDs, I think, were 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere in that era.
Yeah.
You want to take a guess at any of the most memorable matches in 1999 were? There's only 5 matches on this VHS.
Oh, man. Can I use the cover as a cheat?
Of course. Yeah, everybody on that cover is.
I feel like there's a Stone Cold match on there.
Yes, there is a Stone Cold match on there. Wow. There's a Stone Cold Steel Cage match, actually.
Wow. Rock
with the guy he's next to with 15 chair shots to the head or something like that.
In an empty arena?
Nope, the I Quit match. They did have an empty arena match too that year, but that's a list of the matches
they did
on the back.
During the Super Bowl halftime.
Yep, but I know I have Bloopers Bleep Body Slam somewhere.
Dude, you got to find that shit, man. That was like, I got to get the match listing for that. And here we go. Ready? Here's a description.
Watch-alongs, we'll have to, make sure you get a VHS copy, okay? And then we tell everybody, nowadays, if you listen to Bruce Pritchard or Conrad Thompson, they're like, okay, we're going to hit play in 3, 2, 1 now, and you can do the watch-along. No, you're going to get a VHS tape from us. You're going to pop it in your VCR that you probably got on eBay, okay? And then we're going to say, hit play now on the remote that you got to make sure it has batteries in it, and then go from there.
Right. And before you do that, if you need property insurance, please, right? It's property insurance. I don't know what the hell he's pushing. It's tough to watch. Okay. I'm going to give you a real quick snippet here, Scott, because like I said, you stole my thunder, but I'm gonna try to regain it here with the match list. Wrestling bloopers, bleeps, and body slams. Well, no, you know what? I wrote down a description for another gem. Are you ready for this one?
What do you got?
You can have the bloopers, bleeps, and body slams. I'm gonna go with the WWF's most unusual matches. That was a thing.
Yes,
that was a total thing.
Do I own that? I think I own it.
Of
I
course
can picture
you
the
do.
cover. I can picture the cover. I know exactly the cover of that. I'm trying to think of what
Yeah, it was
other
pretty
matches are
unusual,
on
wasn't
it.
it?
I mean, nowadays it wouldn't be considered unusual.
You can guess.
For us in the time. The cover of the most
Go
unusual.
ahead and guess.
100%. It's Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels ladder match.
Whoa.
From
So can I
want
talk?
to say it's from 1992. Because it had to be when
See,
Shawn
this
was
is where Scott comes in
heel.
with the facts, guys.
And this was technically the first ladder match in WWF. The story goes Bret wanted to introduce it. They did it for Coliseum Video. So Coliseum Video, right, very inclusive, right? So that ladder match wasn't on the mainstream, and supposedly,
Wow. So it was an exclusive to Coliseum.
Yeah, and that live crowd. But Bret, I guess he'll tell you there's a story somewhere where he said to Vince, he's like, yeah, I want to bring this match because I guess maybe they used to do it in Stampede, because there's the first ladder match I think on record is like, you can look this up. I want to say it's
Not
like
Razor and Shawn.
No, not first of all, Bret and Shawn was before Razor and Shawn, but I think the first ladder
They
match,
love to rewrite history on that, by the way, which I'm sure people would agree with me on.
I want to say it was like Mid-South, and it's like, maybe it's like Junkyard Dog and like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, maybe, or it might have involved Ted
Dim
DiBiase.
Duggan, yeah.
Don't quote me. And it might have been like in like 78 or something, or I don't know, early 80s.
Wow, bro.
And I want to say it was, yeah, the thing they were reaching for was a bag of money, but I could be completely wrong. But
wow, can you
I gotta be
imagine
close
Duggan on
with
a fucking
something
ladder?
there. What's that?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Duggan on a fucking ladder?
Yeah, so maybe it was
JYD
DiBiase
for
then, I don't know.
that instance too. I can't picture the Hacksaw.
Or you know what? It might have actually
ladder,
been
man.
Jake Roberts. Out of those 4 names I mentioned, 2 of them I think were the match. But before I start naming more and more names, but I think it was one of them. It might have been Jake Roberts, actually. Maybe Jake Roberts and JYD.
Maybe our producer can confirm this for us. I'll certainly confirm it for the chat.
Okay.
But yeah, Jake Roberts, I can believe, dude. You know, maybe it was Damien hanging up there above the ladder, or was that pre snake gimmick?
Retrieve, Damien.
PETA. Yeah. PETA would love that.
See, so there it is. And the story goes that Bret told Vince, he said, he's like, I'll bring this match so you can see what it's all about, get the crowd excited. But he's like, just promise me when you do it on the big scale, he's like, that I want to be a part of it. And then because, Bret and Shawn just, I guess, never got along in the 90s, that, of course, Bret, we know him today to be maybe a little bitter, maybe rightfully so. That's up to you to interpret. Bottom line, though, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Ooh, Scott, touching on something.
I mean, I'm sure when Bret
right there
saw his concept go to Shawn Michaels first on the big scale, it probably, I'm just going to guess, probably rubbed him the wrong way a little bit, that, hey, Shawn got all the limelight from it and Bret didn't. But that first one on the big scale, WrestleMania 10, of course, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon in the ladder match for the double Intercontinental title, the bogus one and the real one. It just happened to be the second show I ever went to. Did not realize how much I was witnessing history that night. But boy, little 8-year-old Scott got to enjoy a good one.
You were sold after that one, bro, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. And look at these other matches on here. Funny enough, I'm looking at the back cover, and I'm seeing that Mabel and Mo Doink crushing Bam Bam in the corner. The kid in me.
What's going on there, man?
I mean, people will poo-poo all over Survivor Series 1993, but honestly, as a kid, man, I don't know. That was one of my favorite pay-per-views, and that match was just wild. The 4 Doinks against Bam Bam Bigelow Head Shrinkers. And do you remember their partner, Tim?
Ooh.
Late
man, you're really gonna put me on the spot like that, huh? Ooh. Ooh, I got it. Bastion Booger.
Yeah, Bastion Booger, man. And there was that
Wow, one of
match.
my all-time favorites, man. What a ring technician that guy was.
Yeah, for that match, I don't know. There was a turkey involved. Remember that was on Thanksgiving Eve. But what other matches are on this card though? It looks like it looks like Shawn Michaels and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but I don't remember that being an unusual match. What was it, like a 2x4 match or something? Like,
Geez, Hacksaw's been in all kinds of gimmick matches, huh?
I guess I see Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid there. Now I think that was a like a $10,000 challenge or something. Like I think Razor said he was going to put up $10,000 if for like 10 minutes or something if the Kid could beat him again. And then I think I think they just went the draw, so like the Kid got the money and then ran away with it, handed it out to some people. But my eyes, I can't read the rest of those matches though, so I don't really remember what else is on there.
Wow, man. Does it say down the bottom there? I think it says outrageous spectacles. Is that what that says?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that looks like an
though,
outrageous spectacle that might be on the Scott Backdoor VHS there too, brother.
oh my God, yeah, that's
Oh,
no thanks. Anyway, so
wow.
One of the
Touchy
greatest
subject,
things,
sorry.
though, about renting videos back in the day is there would be an opportunity. Actually, there'd be a couple bonuses in these videos. First of all, you would maybe get, like, if you stayed to the end of the video, you got cheat codes to the WWF Raw video game on Sega Genesis.
Good point, dude. Yeah, yeah.
You always had the coming soon attractions too in the beginning before the actual video starts. There'd usually be cutouts.
Yeah, it was like you were in a movie theater, man,
Yeah,
but you were watching a VHS, you know?
Usually these were hosted by Todd Pettengill. The older ones, most likely Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah.
If you were lucky enough, when these new releases got to the video store, you could go to the video store and they would either, when you rent it, or I think in my particular case, they just had them like on the counter and you could just ask for it. It was freebies. It was like WWF freebies. It would be something like a Do Not Disturb door knocker featuring Yokozuna. So, like,
oh, dude,
you put it on the door. Mom knows, hey, don't bother Scott right now. He's watching wrestling. So you put the Yokozuna Do Not Disturb sign on the door. You got things like that.
I'll tell you.
I think you got Pogs.
I'll tell you right now. I've used that door handle gimmick thing, you know, the Do Not Disturb, and I've never been disturbed before using that. It's like, it works better than anything. Like, you go to a hotel, right, and you put the little hanging thing on the door, you know, whatever. Guess what? I've still had a freaking housekeeper knock on the door when I have the Do Not Disturb on. But had I put the WWF Undertaker Do Not Disturb sign, I guarantee you housekeeping would have never knocked. Works like magic.
So it looks like we also have a most unusual matches. The one that we showed
from
there, that was from
1985, dude.
Wow.
85.
Babies, literally.
Oh.
I don't know if you can pull it up on the screen, but I'm going to show it from my phone there. It looks like we got probably a battle royal. Maybe our producer can
pull up the
most unusual, a 10-man tag match, an Indian strap match,
a lumberjack match, a tornado match, best of 5 falls matches.
Probably one of the first VHSs. And when we were saying blooper bleeps and body slams earlier, I think those were like I think there was one of those from the 80s too. I think maybe hosted by Jesse Ventura. I personally remember the one from, like, it's either 94 or 95. And the best part, though, when you watch it as an adult now, is definitely like the bloopers and the bleeps. Like, we've seen plenty of body slams, but it's when you see that's like the classic Mean Gene Okerlund. Hey, put that cigarette out. Like,
yeah, right.
That's the stuff you just love. Like, the stuff that's not supposed to happen, but they kept it, at least in video form, to release for us to enjoy.
Correct. And, like, I don't know, like, if you've been on the book, right? Like, I've seen an influx of Mean Gene interviews with whomever it may be, right? Like, there was one that got picked up real good with Kamala. Another one with, Jim with the Warrior, right? Ultimate Warrior. There's some
There's a
good
great one where
stuff
Ken
out there,
Patera
dude.
is just absolutely riveting, and Mean Gene's
Really,
just trying to keep it together.
man, like you love to watch the spirals. It's incredible to me that number one that footage has been preserved this long, and number two, like why the hell has it taken all this time to come out? Like it doesn't make sense. What's the origin of this stuff? Maybe one of our listeners can help us out here. Where did this stuff come from, man, and why now? I'm not that I'm complaining, obviously, right? But like, I mean, this is gold. How has no one like put this out sooner? But anyway, like I'm just glad it's out there because there's some gems in there, and like I'm gonna put over Gene Okerlund real quick here because it's an absolute necessity. Mean Gene, okay, like that dude and Vince were like the glue that held shit together in the early '80s and the mid '80s. Like you put over Nick Khan last week, right? I'm gonna put over Gene effing Mean Gene Okerlund, okay? Because that guy could put over any worker, man. Like you just stand in front of him and he's got a freaking mic. He knows what questions to ask. He knows how to ask them. He knows whether he should be fired up during the interview. What do you think about this? Can you believe this guy did this to you? And blah, blah. Like, as a kid watching that shit, I'm like, oh my God, it gets you all fired up and like in the program, but and like I know he's gotten credit over the years, but I really think that like Mean Gene was way underrated. And people may argue with me about that. They may think that, oh, yeah, like, it's fucking Mean Gene. Okay, right? But like this dude made UWF what it was. He was a monster part of Hulkamania and the explosion, man. Again, I just think, and it's not even Hulkamania, like literally just the oh yeah, look at that, man. See, this is what you got to watch the podcast, man. Look at this. There's Scott and Mean Gene, brother. Look at him. God rest his soul, man.
Great night.
Try
My
to
man was
remember if
definitely
I
drinking a martini that night. That was at the bar.
yeah, probably out of a pint glass.
That was at the bar next to the Manhattan Center for the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. Maybe Mean Gene's. No, it definitely wasn't his last. I don't think it was.
Like this dude would drink like vodka straight up, wouldn't he?
Probably. He was known to have a drink or two. I think even famously there was a show on the WWE Network, Untold Stories, I think it was called, which is a great show. And it's just like they tell stories, but they're animated, like a cartoon. And
oh, okay, yeah, I think I've seen.
So even animated Mean Gene has always got a martini with him. So, and I think like he might have a drink named after him somewhere. Like you can. There's somewhere I know
he's got to.
You can order it.
Timmy White's Bar, maybe, I don't know. Is Timmy White's Bar still around? Scott, you've
Timmy
been
White's
there.
Bar is still around, but I don't believe it is under the guise of the Friendly Tap anymore. I believe when I went a few months before Tim unfortunately passed away, but I think it was just called the Tap at that point. It was under like new ownership. Now, if it's still there, I think it has a completely different. It's like rebranded or whatever.
The Unfriendly Tap. No one would go to that bar.
No, probably not.
Yeah, Timmy White, man, another great guy from all accounts. Andre's handler, right? Any guy that has to do that job, they couldn't pay him enough.
While we're on this whole time we're talking, we'll bring it back full circle though. So we're talking about Tim White, handler for Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant, tag team partners with Haku, which was the Colossal Connection. So hopefully in all of this tangent, we have owned our mistake of the Can-Am Connection. Yes, the Can-Am Connection we have learned is, and we knew, I just didn't put my brain together, but we knew that's Rick Martel and Tony Garea. Okay, they are the Can-Am Connection, not to be confused with Strike Force, which is Rick Martel and Tito Santana. So I'm glad that after Coliseum Video and VHSs and everything else we were just talking about, Mean Gene, Timmy White, we can put a bow on the colossal disconnection that we've had. Now, bringing it back though.
Timeout.
Go ahead. We have a timeout being called. Go ahead. Red flag up.
Timeout. Scott, I'm going to, red flag. I'm going to need some clarification here, bud, because I thought we settled this thing during this episode. And I believe I'm going to have to replay the tape. But I believe that I just heard you say that Can-Am Connection was Rick Martel and Tony Garea.
Correct. Yes.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I did. Now, they are a Can-Am Connection. There may be another one. Because if you're going to bring up Tom Zenk, that is like, I think, a second version of the Can-Am Connection. Is that what you're going to try to do to me?
Wow. Now we're dealing. Yeah, because Scott, when your 56K, when you got a call coming in that disconnected your 56K line because of, no such thing as call forwarding, whatever, right? So when that person called in and kicked you offline, right, it was like, the family member would pick up the phone while you're on it, and then it would kick you offline. Nobody understands what the hell I'm talking about, but it's fine. It used to happen. I went on record as saying that the Can-Am Connection was Rick Martel and Tom Zenk, but now I'm realizing you didn't hear that because the line went dead. But now you're bringing out Tony Garea. I didn't even know there was two
maybe
Can-Am
I'm
Connections.
wrong here. I'm starting to look it up, but maybe, hold on.
Man, just when I thought I had all the answers, you changed the question, Scott. We need clarification on this immediately because I'm not going into episode 3 without a firm answer here.
All right. I guess Rick Martel and Tony Garea were just a tag team with no name. But if Tony Garea is American, then I will stand by that they were the Can-Am Connection.
Can you figure? You know what, Scott? If I was a betting man, I'd say Tony Garea is probably not American.
I don't know. He looks very American.
This is bananas.
Yeah, he has a damn sailor tattoo. Like, what's more American than that? Like,
I don't know. Rick Rude had a hook there. God, I'm missing this word again.
An anchor.
Anchor, Scott. Thank you, dear God. I would have gotten slaughtered in the comments. An anchor, yeah. What's up with the nautical shit? I don't get it.
Yeah, 2-time tag team champions. I mean, they beat the Wild Samoans, but yeah.
God, if I can only spell Garea.
They technically Tony. Okay, they're not. Sorry, I can make mistakes live on air, I guess. Tony Garea is not even American.
Well, Scott, please, for God's sakes, I was hoping you weren't going to make a mistake on this topic because we caught a lot of slack for this.
Connection.
He's from New Zealand?
Yes, he's from New Zealand.
Tony Garea was a Kiwi? I had no idea.
I didn't know. Okay.
Can you just help me spell Garea?
Is Kiwi? That's not an offensive term, is it?
God, I hope.
Okay. If it is, send all hate tweets to @Tim's personal account, not at the Stiff Shot Podcast.
Oh, man.
Straight to Timmy's.
Didn't they use that in like Crocodile Dundee back in the day? I don't know.
But I will say Tony Garea, so you see my collection of all these autographs I have. Tony Garea, honestly, one of the first autographs I ever obtained.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Garea. Yes, folks, it did take me that long to figure out how to spell Garea.
Tony Garea, he was, I think, maybe a stagehand.
New Zealand.
After
Holy
his
crap,
wrestling career.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you didn't believe me?
Well, I feel like I spoke to him and he didn't have an accent.
I believe he was a stagehand in like 1998, 1999, and I remember where I was sitting on a SmackDown, I think, maybe late in the year. Could have been a Raw. But he like walked by me and I was like, Mr. Garea, can I get your autograph? And he signed my ticket. So that was one of the first autographs I had. Nobody really like knew who he was during the Attitude Era, but you know, my little
was this was when he was a road agent, you said? Sorry, I blacked out.
Well, I think he was a road agent, but like if you were a road agent, I don't think you'd be in the crowd so much. So
okay,
I feel like he was like a stagehand or something. The only other person's autograph that I went because he came by my seat was the big buff UWF security guard, Mr. Jim Dotson. He signed the other side of that.
Big
ticket.
old Jimmy Dotson, brother.
Yeah, that ticket
that
signed
guy
by Jim
was
Dotson
a
on one
house.
side. And Tony Garea on the other. But anyway.
Dude, you're just name dropping right now, man. Big Jimmy Dotson, huh?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Jimmy Dotson anymore.
No, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but
get the fuck out.
Tony Garea still is. And honestly, probably going to see him in a few weeks, actually, at the big event in New York.
Oh, yes.
Maybe Timmy Slice will come with me. He'll let me know.
And it's not Timmy Slice.
I'd call you whatever I want.
Wow. Think you have that authority, huh? My lady would say the same thing. And she does, for the record, folks. Wow. Okay. So we covered a lot here, man. Tony Garea is from New Zealand. Covered that. He was not a part of, not a part of the Can-Am connection. Okay. However, he was in a tag with Rick Martel. I'm also seeing here that he won. You ready for these factoids? Tony Garea was a 5-time WWF World Tag Team Champion, winning titles with 4 different partners. Are you ready for this partner list?
Okay, so 2 of them were Martel, so the other 3 were just one-time tag champs.
Sorry, 5 times. So 2 with Martel and 3 other people.
Wow.
Ooh, do we do a stump the bump here now?
They're not gonna come to me.
No, they're not. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Because none of them are going to be.
This is the most obscure list.
They're probably these even WWF tag champs, or these are like WWF tag champs?
Now, this particular artificial intelligence indicates that it is WWF, but please take that with a grain of salt because we're talking about the 1970s. So I gotta believe this was WWF.
I don't think I'm going to be able to name any of them, but I feel like for sure, he probably traded titles with Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito.
You're saying as opponents?
Yes.
Yes, actually, Scott, that is correct. In this AI-generated response, I'm being told that Garea's final run as tag team champion ended in October of 1981, along with Martel, when they lost to Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito.
Gotcha. Yeah, but before that, man, he couldn't have been tagged.
I really want to read this list to you, Scott.
Yeah, go, because I'm not going to get it, so go ahead.
No,
if you know it in the chat,
of us really
say it now.
Yeah, if you know it in the chat, we'll give you an opportunity to give a crack at it, right? Don't cheat, by the way. Come on, cheating's no fun. Don't do it.
You know what? I might as well throw out 3 guesses, though. Let me just throw out 3
Okay,
guesses.
yeah. I mean, you might as well. I'll even give you 4 guesses, Scott.
I'm going to go Haystacks Calhoun for 1.
Bro, come on,
Did I get it? Did I get one?
You fucking got it.
Yo, let's go. All right.
How, though? How?
Yo, you see me, right?
Dude, Bro, you better not be kayfabing me here,
no,
man. You didn't touch that Google machine, did you?
Scott's honor. Haystacks Calhoun.
Scott's honors that's Bible, folks.
All right. Another name I'm going to do is, I'm going to say, this. I don't think this is right, but I'm going to say Gorilla Monsoon.
Ooh, solid guess, Scott. Big part of the WWF, but no, it was not. It was not.
You know what I'm thinking of in my head right now is, like, in my life when I have conversations with people that I find out they're wrestling fans, and if I have a conversation with somebody that's like 20 years older than me or 30 years older than me, then
they're in a wheelchair.
They're gonna name off these wrestlers. Like, they remember Haystacks Calhoun. So I'm trying to think of names from that era.
I feel like they built, like, when I was a kid, I knew who. I had never seen the man before, and I can't tell you why I knew who he was. But as a kid, I knew who he was because they build him as the biggest. Like, they did some serious, like, build for this guy. I feel like 601 pounds. That's all I remember as a kid because they said, oh, it was the biggest guy, you know. And at that time, it was like, oh, Andre was around. And, of course, you know, 520 or whatever the heck they build him as. You know, I always thought Andre was the biggest until I heard of this guy, Haystacks.
Watching Yokozuna, who was like 641 pounds he was billed at, and I think they would always say Haystacks Calhoun. There's some references there. But anyway, my last guess, I'm just going to say, going along the lines of the same era, I'm just going to say the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, if that was his part.
Good guess, Scott. Good guess. That is unfortunately not correct.
All right. Well,
I think you're going to be disappointed with one of these answers for not getting it.
Wait, okay, can I honorable mention? I was thinking about it, but I was like, I felt like he was too old.
Here we go,
I just want to shout out Classy Freddie Blassie.
Ooh, wow. When he was a worker.
Yeah, no, right?
And not a manager. That's going to be a no, Scott.
Okay.
Actually, but I mean, you can keep throwing
one
stuff
more.
out
Bob
if
Backlund.
you want.
Bob Backlund?
Yeah.
Bob Backlund, maybe?
Oh, God, not Bob Backlund.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Just say him.
Backlund would never tag with Garea. Anywho. The other answers are Dean Ho.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that one.
No. I
Is
don't
he
think
related to
anyone
Godfather
listening
Ho?
to this podcast would have gotten it. Okay, Scott. There's no E there, by the way. Dean Ho, which, I'm probably after this episode going to Google that name without the E, folks, by the way, just to see who the heck that is, because I feel like it sounds familiar, but I'm certainly not picturing Dean Ho. The other name, Scott, I'm going to give you a hint, and this is kind of an insider thing. Sorry, guys. Wow.
Larry Zbyszko?
Larry Zbyszko.
Wow.
Yeah. How they used to do that shit on WCW,
The
right? What
Actually,
was
if you watch the first episode at the end, that's how I signed off. I do the Zbyszko.
Wow, dude. See, we got Easter eggs in this damn thing already. This is incredible, guys. I had no idea.
Wow,
Scott's
Zbyszko.
burying Easter eggs.
And it's funny,
I feel like
me
there's
and
a
Tim
lot
can
of
just
Easter
go
eggs.
wow to each other, and we know we're talking about Zbyszko.
Yeah, like, can you guys believe that? Does that make us weird? I think it does. Anywho, we were big Zbyszko fans, man. We got to meet that guy also, and geez, he was a solid dude, man, and a great fucking worker. Let's just say that too, for the record. I mean, my God, that guy back in his day, he was a technician. He was a map technician.
Yes.
Great guy, Zbyszko.
I don't know
But
what he
now
thinks
we're
about
off.
today. Everybody's wrestling too fast nowadays.
Wow, they're all wrestling too fast. It's funny
slow
because if
down,
you go back
sell a
and
little
watch
bit.
him, that's right. If you watch him back on commentary when he was working for WCW, he made a comment like that. I think on more than one occasion on some Nitros.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you put Zbyszko on commentator for a cruiserweight match, but I digress.
Yes.
Anyway, though, speaking of some old timers, though, in the news this week, we got a legendary tag team announced via The Undertaker. I think that's a new thing. The Undertaker now tells you when you're going into the Hall of Fame, but we have a tag team going into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, what's all that about?
Well, when you see them coming, you're going. So, what do you think? Demolition going into the WWE Hall of Fame. About that.
As old school guys like us, man, that's so overdue. So overdue. A couple of great, nice guys, too. And Barry, man, Barry's like, God, Crusher Khrushchev. Of course, I'm never going to be able to say that at this time of night. Crusher Khrushchev. Thank you, Scott. It's a part of the Khrushchev family. I mean, that guy had so many gimmicks, man. He was, he was a total veteran, right? He was
in WCW, Mr. Hole in One, I believe. He was just a golfer. That may have not lasted more than a month.
Talk about obscure gimmicks, man. My God, Repo Man in WWF in the 90s, bro. Like,
that's amazing.
This guy just did
into the Hall of Fame.
What's that?
Amazing that Repo Man's going into the Hall of Fame.
Literally, yeah, incredible. Never did I think when I was a kid watching him sneak out of the curtain with his outfit that had tire tracks on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vince, really, really great creative there. Never in my life did I think that guy would be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But Barry Darsow, great guy, man. Super friendly. Bill Eadie, another great guy. We got to meet them on multiple occasions, actually, which was really cool. Just down to earth, humble dudes, and gave a lot to this business. Bill Eadie. I mean, his career started before I really got into wrestling. I think he was definitely. I mean, the Demolition was just awesome tag team. I was more of a Powers of Pain guy myself, but I'm certainly, that same type of vibe, that same era. Oh, we got another little gem here, guys. What do we got? I got to blow my screen up here to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, my lighting kind of stinks on this, but yeah, that's me in the middle. Tim, that's actually you in the background there, Timbo.
Why am I always in the background?
Well, you got your own picture, so we didn't do these pictures together. We kind of just did them one-on-one. I also think we didn't pay for these pictures.
That's like the third photo you've shown where I'm in the background.
You can't see it, but Bill Eadie there, he's got a shiner on him. Do you remember that? He had a nice black eye.
Did we ask him about that?
I probably would have been too scared to ask him.
Yeah, because then he would have given you one, gotta.
You know what's funny thing I remember about this? The other guy that's like kind of in the background of that photo, it was so random. He had a Bret the Hitman Hart.
I feel like this is about to get obscure, guys. Okay.
If you remember this, he had a Bret the Hitman Hart action figure, and I think Bret Hart was also at this convention. I don't know if the guy just didn't want to spend. Maybe Bret Hart was like $30 more for an autograph than Smash a Demolition. So he just
Yeah.
like asked Smash to sign his Bret Hart figure. And I think Smash just looked at him
Whoa,
weird. He was
dude.
like, yeah. And he did it. So somewhere out there in the world exists
That's like
a Bret Hart action figures autographed by Smash.
that no
Probably
one would pay any money for. Like, that's like sacrilegious. You don't do that. I've never even seen that before.
Yeah.
Shame on
weird.
that man.
But I do remember that. I was like, that's weird. I just kind of gave the guy a look. But
Like,
anyway, that picture was in
I could
2007.
see, like-
I still have hair in that photo, although it's very thin.
Whoa,
Speaking
folks.
of thin, Tim, you're pretty thin in that
Been a
photo
while.
compared to now.
Scott?
Anyway, okay, my producers said that was too much. Okay, you can edit that out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to
Anyway.
edit that out. Okay.
God, 07.
So-
We're going on almost 20 years ago. That was
Oh,
actually.
God. So
I
you're telling
wanna
me I'm
say the
thinning up
first-
top, and now you're calling me old?
No, I said
Jeez,
I'm
just
thin.
really.
I was thinning up top. You were thinning all over.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Got it. I thought. See, you want to be my friend on here. Trust me. God, this guy.
Anyway.
Ribbon. Mr.
Nah,
Rib.
listen. You Tim, you're doing fine.
Scott the
Maybe
Rib
you're
Gata.
going in a little bit of Haystacks Calhoun direction, but you need to get back to that. 07.
Where's this coming from? This hatred. I'm lean and mean, brother.
Oh, the chat's saying it. Oh, that's too much, Scott. Oh my God, look at this.
That's too much. Yeah, thanks, guys. I need somebody to stick up for me here.
All right.
'cause, clearly, this guy's
We can
spiraling over here.
Hey, this
Yeah,
is the
what
Stiff
happens when we-
Shot podcast. We give each other some jabs, man. Come on.
Yeah. There it is, Scott. Right,
You
just
gotta-
at my expense.
If you could dish it, you could take it.
Yeah. Chin's hurting a little bit right now, brother.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm sure
Couple
there's
of
plenty
stiff
Scott
shots
Backdoor
there.
adventure jokes in this podcast too. So
Oh, you know what? I did kind of start the podcast off. All right, you know what? We're gonna call it even. How about that?
Okay.
We're gonna call it even. But yeah, I mean, this is the Stiff Shot podcast, man. This is what we're supposed to be doing here. It's pull no punches, right? It's like jabbing back and forth. We're gonna call it like we see it in the world of professional wrestling, also, because it's better that way. Couple of things here before we
congrats to
wrap it up,
Demolition
man.
Going into the Hall of Fame,
Yes,
joining AJ
yes.
Styles.
Let's
and Stephanie
just do
McMahon.
that for a second here.
The big question is it just Axe and Smash? No Crush. Hopefully he gets an honorable mention.
I wonder. That's a really good question, Scott. We're going to have to tune into the Hall of Fame ceremony to see if that does happen. I feel like that guy, Ryan Adams, I feel like he may have burnt some bridges. I don't know why I feel that. I don't know if that's a true statement or not.
Could be.
But,
couldn't
I
answer
think-
either way on that.
And maybe it was just the byproduct of the fact that, back during that time when he did unfortunately pass away, and I correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I think it was drug related.
It may have been.
And
it came at a terrible time in the industry because it happened
Yes.
in 2007, and I believe
Yes.
it happened. I think it happened just after the Benoit tragedy.
Something in my head is telling me,
I
like,
think
dude,
Sherry
this
Martel
wasn't
was
good.
just before, and then like 2
Okay.
weeks before, and then the Benoit tragedy, and then I want to say 2 weeks after was Crush unfortunately passed away. But I don't know if it was drug related or not. I don't want to put anything out there that says
Yeah.
say
I
it
shouldn't
was.
overspeak myself until I know what the hell I'm talking about, right? But I wonder, something in the back of my head's telling me there may be a bridge or two that was burnt there. I could
Perhaps.
totally be wrong. I hope
But-
I'm wrong.
Hopefully he gets his just due.
Yes.
I can understand
Because regardless of whatever happened, right, with him, and the backstage stuff, he deserves to be in there with him, man, because he was, a part of that tag team Demolition. Of course, the core two were Axe and Smash, but, he certainly did contribute. And really as a trio tag, right, like think about it in the NWA back in the day, like the trios thing was like a common thing, but like I just, as a kid growing up watching WWF, I don't remember, certainly it was never a trios tag belt. There wasn't that many like trios going on, and I feel like Demolition really nailed it when it came to a trios tag team, and that wouldn't have happened without Crush.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, in a way, did they have like the Freebird rule kind of in WWF? Maybe way before
Ooh.
the New Day. Which, speaking of the New Day, the Demolition, they were the longest reigning tag team champions until the New Day dethroned that record.
Wow. There's Scott. See, I knew a fact was coming here sooner or later.
23 5 years after the fact, something like that. So
Okay.
yeah, there you have it. With Crush, though, I would say like hopefully he does get some sort of notoriety with the Hall of Fame induction, only because when his death happened in 2007, usually when a wrestler passes away and you get wind of it, there's usually at least some sort of coverage. But due to what was going on in current events at that time in 2007, understandably in a way, didn't get too much light shined on his career at that time. I think WWE.com had some a lot of stilled images throughout his career, something like that, but nothing really mentioned on air, if I remember, just because it just a bad timing overall to focus on wrestling deaths at that time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Demolition, Hall of Fame, much deserved, great. It's now they're on good terms. There was a long time where they were not on good terms with the company. I think there were some lawsuits.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
On certain things. Don't know the details of too much, but I think there was like ongoing lawsuits. But usually the step goes is if you see wrestlers, when they become good terms, they have like a kind of like a Legends contract sign, and then you start to see action figures made of them, or you start to see them appear in video games. That's usually like a little gateway to the Hall of Fame. And then you can see them doing more things with the company. So we'll see. I will be in Vegas. I officially made the decision. I don't know if I've told you. I'm gonna have to ask you for mind dropping me off at the airport.
Folks, I'm finding out about this live on air here.
Yeah. So I know I was thinking about it, but I've pretty much been official because I did buy a ticket for something that I was worried might sell out. I said, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I don't know
FOMO,
if I'm going to go to the Hall
bro.
of Fame yet. We'll see. That'd be late Friday night. East Coast time. It's going to be like 1 a.m. probably.
Yeah. You'll be 2 sheets of the gimmick by then.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I'll at least be in the same city as them when they go in the Hall of Fame. So looking forward to that.
Wow, dude, this is exciting news, Scott. That means you can broadcast live for the
podcast,
Stiff Shot podcast down
brand.
live in Vegas at Mania. Okay, this is big news, folks. Big news for old Timbo Slice here, and big news for our listeners because Scott being down there, as long as he doesn't get too carried away, should be some very interesting reporting. Kind of scares me a little that it's in Vegas, but I'm sure Scott will have everything together, and everything buttoned up, and Big Poppa Bump will be down there in Vegas reporting live. We're going to go on record as saying that right now.
Who knows where I'll be? I mean, it'll be 420. Rod Van Dam's over there. I think the Godfather still has a strip club in Vegas. I mean, it could.
Oh my God, Scott! I hope. The only thing I hope is that the bandwidth in Vegas is better than the bandwidth over in your area right now, brother. That's all I gotta say. But hopefully everybody, stays buttoned up, keeps their clothes on, and we can get some decent footage there. Maybe we'll leave out the footage with the Godfather at the club there, man. Just try to keep this PG or PG-13, whatever we are. I don't even know if they use that anymore. But yeah, man, exciting. Really, really cool. I'm happy to hear this. I was hoping you were going to pull the trigger, and it sounds like you have pulled the trigger. So Scott's going to Mania, guys, and we'll have some exclusive stuff here on the podcast with Scott down there broadcasting live.
Yeah,
from Vegas.
Maybe I'll have to pick up some WrestleMania memorabilia, and then we can do giveaways with that memorabilia here on the pod.
I like it, Scott. I like it. Yeah, let's reward our listeners, man. If they can put up with us for an hour an episode, they deserve something, right? Good God. Very cool. All right. We covered a lot. We went off on some different topics here. Very interesting stuff. We had some trivia, some impromptu trivia. We talked about VHSs. And so now all of you know what the hell a VHS is. Some interesting bloopers, bleeps, and body slams, WrestleFest, WWF's most unusual matches.
Maybe one day we'll have to cut up some clips and we'll have some bloopers and bleeps of our own here.
I'm sure there would be at least an hour of time that could be taken up with that footage for sure.
I'm sure somebody in the chat will say, you talked about most unusual matches. They think this is the most unusual podcast, apparently.
For sure. At times, Scott, when you speak, yes, it definitely can get unusual. But anywho, hopefully, guys, that we cleared up the Can-Am gate, right? What do we call it? Colossal confusion? Disconnection? Boom, yes. Man. Yes. Hopefully we cleared that up because that was just, I was eating away at me all week. I'm glad that we were able to provide some clarity there. Hopefully everybody will calm down now. Everything's settled here.
We value integrity.
I'm sure
we're sorry that we started off first episode with a little bit of an error.
Shame on us. God, we're only going to get better from here, guys. I'm sure we made another botch here that will be called out on at some point, or my lovely producer may be able to pull some footage here from this week's episode to post on social without my permission. But anywho, a lot planned for you guys. I know I mentioned it last time, but it looks like we might have some Mania giveaways because big old Scott Gotta, Mr. Bump's going to be in Mania. He's going to be spending some of his own money down there. There it is, brother. That's right. And getting some merch for you guys. So we'll do some giveaways on air. We got trivia coming. I think we're going to name the segment the Brainbusters segment, or Stump the Scott, right? We're throwing around a bunch of different ideas, but, there are going to be some cool segments. I want to talk theme songs maybe next episode. We definitely have some stories to share with all of you guys about theme songs. Some of them, speaking of unique, I think that some theme songs over the years have been very, very unique. Some of them definitely thump. Some of them are really good, really bad. We'll talk Jim Johnson, who was the producer extraordinaire in the 90s of the majority of the WWF theme songs. We want to get some feedback from you guys. Might be a controversial episode next week because people have a lot of strong opinions on theme songs and on who their favorite, what their favorite theme song is for their favorite wrestler. I can say that my favorite theme songs don't necessarily correspond to my favorite wrestlers. So, I try to keep those two things kind of separate. But Brawl for All theme, I'm just going to throw that out there. The Brawl for All theme, one of my absolute favorites, probably top 3 for sure. So if you've never heard it,
so what you're saying is the Brawl for All was not your favorite necessarily tournament.
You got that right, man. Geez, speaking of botches, holy mackerel, that could be a whole episode in and of itself, for sure, guys. So we'll be talking Brawl for All next week, theme songs. We'll get a little more clarification.
We got to talk about, there's a new Intercontinental Champion. We have a new WWE Champion.
God, we got a lot going on. And
the Road Dogg's exit from WWE Creative. And what does Tom Brady have cooking for possibly WrestleMania this year? So we'll discuss all that. So stay tuned.
A lot of ongoings in professional wrestling right now in the WWE. That Road Dogg thing, definitely I want to touch on because, it's tough to tell what was going on there. I saw a video today that I don't know if it's AI or not, but it was kind of a behind the scenes video. But anyway, guys, you got to stay tuned. Next week, we'll be discussing all those topics and much, much more. Hope you guys enjoyed listening. Please like, follow, share. We're on all your favorite social media platforms. We are on YouTube right now as kind of our main hub, I would say. But check us out also on TikTok. We're on Twitch. We're on all your favorite social media. So please, guys, it means the world to us. If you're having a good time with us, we're having a good time with you. Like, follow, share, and follow along with us. We got a lot of big things planned here, right here on the Stiff Shot Podcast, the hardest hitting podcast in pro wrestling, brother. All right, folks. See you soon. Thanks for joining in. And we'll catch you on the flip side next week. Thanks.